Welcome to this episode of the Brain Picking Podcast. I'm your host Miles, and today I'm going to be picking the brain of the sports injury specialist and the founder and owner of PSI, Louie Sims. How you doing today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, man. I'm good.
Good. How are you feeling about coming on the episode then?
I was a bit nervous, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any reason why? Is it just kind of you're not used to this? Is it something that's just new to you? What is it?
Yeah, I don't really talk on camera a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even do a lot of content. So I think it's just something new.
Yeah. No, well to be fair, I just want to say massive thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no,
I really do appreciate it. I love the fact that you've come on. So I've known you for a little while now, and obviously the audience watching this may not know you. So introduce yourself of kind of what you do, who you are, like what your job is, what your role is.
Okay, so yeah, my name's Louie Sims. I'm a sports injury and performance specialist. My current role is kind of managing, assessing and treating acute injuries, so new injuries, chronic injuries, old injuries. I do a lot more of that now than a lot of what I've done in the past, which we'll obviously touch on. So I'm a strength conditioning coach by trade, but I've also done a degree in sports injury. So I kind of have merged the worlds together into bridging the gap between performance and injury, essentially. But I do work a lot more with the general public now, and I'm transitioning, I guess, more into chronic pain management and trying to help people who can't get relief and not the correct treatment, but the effective treatment through the medical means.
Yeah, like kind of going to the hospital.
Yeah, doctors. Yeah, that sort of route.
Okay, and so so the brand is PSI.
Mm-hmm.
How long has PSI been running? When did you open this?
So I started the concept. I pitched the concept would have been 2017. So it's that 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Coming up 8 years.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
So yeah, the idea was kind of born out of necessity, really. So at the time that I kind of come up with it, I was postgraduate. So I was after my first degree and going into my second degree.
Yeah.
I'd spent a lot of time working in like sports institutions and for sports institutions.
Right.
So I was getting familiar with like the hierarchical models of funding, how and where the money came from, where them resources were going, and it's just, for me, it was just a broken system.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create something that bridged the gap between kind of what you get at the elite level and making it much more accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
That was kind of the whole thing. So the initial PSI was Performance Science Institute.
Right, okay.
Because my whole thing was about performance sciences. So I've definitely evolved more into like an injury prevention, and it just, my philosophy's changed over the years. When I was younger, everything was about performance. Everything was like, I was mad for all things faster, stronger.
Yeah.
That's very much what I was about. And then kind of through my own experiences and through working with more and more people, I took a step back from that a little bit and then just changed my philosophy a bit on the human body.
Okay. And was it kind of, is it something easy to kind of transition to, and was it easy to kind of come out of your uni and come off of essentially like learning it all and then almost like putting it into practice? Were there certain things that you went, hold on, I haven't done this, haven't touched on this, haven't learned this type of thing?
Yeah, my education was good, like really good in terms of like physiology and science and biomechanics and anatomy and
Yeah.
anything human body.
Yeah.
But they don't teach you the real world. Like, was it difficult to implement? Not really, because to be honest, the whole world of training and strength conditioning is fairly straightforward.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we look at like progressive overloads, you screen people's movements. If they're not good at a movement, you teach them how to move, and then the restrictions and what you observe within that. So, we'll look at the whole chain, like squat patterns, hinge patterns, push pulls. You kind of look at that overall. Yeah, like there's mechanics within it, and it is fairly advanced. But once you get it, you're like strength and conditioning systems fairly straightforward.
Right. Okay.
You just layer load on top of skill. So the more skilled you get someone moving, the more you can load that skill, and the more strength and power and whatever you can work on as an outcome of loading that skill. It's a fairly like linear progression, but that's not really how it works in the real world.
Yeah, of course. And I suppose was that a harsh reality to come to, or did you kind of expect it? Were you kind of given that advice beforehand? Like, did you know, right, okay, it's easy in theory to kind of get around it? Is it more something that is like practically this is actually that's the harder part to overcome?
I think so, but the thing is the problem with these institutions is everything works within the institution.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you go into something that's a step-by-step process, you learn certain levels and you learn certain things, and then they get implemented throughout the institutions, like academies, or so like you get taught to do things in a certain way, and then them certain things are taught in a certain way within within academies or elite sports teams.
Yep.
And then like it kind of makes sense within its own little world. But then when you are external of any institution, like you basically become institutionalized. So when you're outside of that, you don't have any framework or structure, and that's where like the learning curves happen. It's because you don't belong to anything. You don't have anyone guiding you. You don't have any real guidance apart from what you know. But then like the world you knew isn't the rest of the world. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like a growing up thing. Yeah.
I mean, you said that you're kind of now on more of a path of the general public. So what were you doing before the general public? Where were you kind of working?
Okay. So yeah, my background's elite sport. So I'm the guy who adds 1%. I'm the guy who adds 0.1 of a second off of a sprint. Like that's my field. Like that's to the nth degree looking at everything that underpins human performance, from the biomechanics, which are called, you've got kinetics, which are the forces involved, and kinematics, which are the movements, and we use equations, and that was very much like my techie boffin stuff. So I caught myself on a waffle. What was the question again?
I was asking about kind of where were you before?
Yeah. Okay.
The general public?
Yeah. Sweet. So yeah, before general public was elite sport. So I started off working. I mean, I've been working training people for years, but I guess in more my current roles was I went and volunteered to work with an athletics group.
Okay.
So speed training, so like 100 meter sprint, 60 meter sprint, 200 meters. So I started working with a lot of sprinting athletes. That kind of evolved. I took on some jumpers, I took on some throwers, but mainly it was like strength and power explosive sports, mainly sprinting.
Yeah.
So I became very specialised in athletics and sprinting. I wrote quite a lot of papers on it, done a lot of research in it. like in-house research. It's a thing with elite sport. You generally don't publish your results. You keep it to yourself because you're obviously in competition. So you've got like diamond leagues and stuff, which they're like pay per medals.
Right. Okay.
So if you're working with an athlete who's in a diamond league, you know, they can win, I don't know, a fair few grand off of a gold medal by going to do diamond leagues. And that's how a lot of them top up their like, because there's not a lot of money in sport, right? Even sprinting and whatnot. So yeah, working with a few diamond league guys, and then like you've obviously got like Commonwealth Games, European Games, World Games, Olympics. So yeah, I was just underpinning like sprint performance as a start. But that's like one of the best analogies that someone said to me when I was talking about it. It's like, you're making millionaires richer.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you've got a guy who can run 100 meters in 10.3 seconds. Like, he's not slow, is he? Like, I never really worked with anyone sub 10, but I mean, they're quick, man. You know, like they're running 27, 26 miles an hour, 28 miles an hour at times. Do you know what I mean?
Mental, isn't it, really?
Yeah, so that's what my thing was. And I think I loved it. And I loved the buzz of like getting PBs and like adding, you know, like 100 watts to a jump, and then seeing how that translated into their sprint performance and whatnot, which was cool. And it was super cool. And I loved doing it with loads of different sports.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my background, man. Like, and I loved doing that side of things for quite a number of years. So it's only more in the last 3-4 years that I've transitioned more into my injury role.
Yeah. Okay. And with how did you kind of make that transition? What prompted you to make the decision of going, you know what, I'm going to go down more the injury route? Was it? Did you see a big window and just kind of go, you know what, I'm gonna have a stab at that and kind of go down that route?
Yeah, there's a bit of that. COVID obviously massively changed the landscape of elite sport.
Yeah.
The thing was, at the time, like pre-COVID, so I came back from Cardiff where I studied.
Yeah.
And I had nothing. Like, I just had this like vision of like what the PSI thing was going to be. A load of stuff happened in my master's year that like was a nightmare. So I came back to Reading, and because I boxed my whole life. So like my dad took me down a boxing club when I was about 3-4 years old. Oh, right. I stopped when I was about 14. Yeah. Started playing football and rugby, going gym and whatnot. And then picked it back up in my late teens, early 20s, and stopped properly when I was about 24. So I moved back to Reading and I wanted to get back into the boxing thing. So I went to a few different clubs in different gyms because I didn't have anything to offer apart from like this dream that I had in my head and this promise of like you don't know who I am, but I know I'm good at this job, and I've got some really good success and some really good like results from what I'm doing. It's kind of a new take on what S&C was at the time, and like I thought, well, let's do this in the boxing world. So I literally had a push bike to my name. That was it. Like, I had nothing. I come back. I rode my push bike. Yeah, I went to see some people in town and different gyms and whatnot. But you know, they wouldn't give me the time of day. Then I went down to TNT when it was TNT and Bolmarsh Boxing Club. So the gym was on the bottom, the boxing club was on the top, and I went in and I met Tony, who's the owner. Yeah. And I got in there and I just explained the situation. Like, I've come back from Cardiff, this is my background, blah, blah, blah. Had about a 10-15 minute conversation with him, you know, like, I look like a hood rat, do you know what I mean? Like, I was in a tracksuit, turned up on a push bike with a bag on the seat. And to be fair to him, man, like, and I love him for it this day, like, he was like, well, go on then. Yeah. Just like, you got the boxes upstairs, here's the space. I won't charge you for a while. Just do your thing. Yeah. Like, and it was an opportunity. And like within that gym, we bought, so we had Sam Fleetwood upstairs was the head coach. Yeah. And Tommy Johnson and all them boys. So that's how I kind of got really friendly and familiar with with the like more local boxing scene.
Yeah, they're the boxing coaches.
Yeah, they're the boxing boys. So yeah, he had a real good club at the time. Like, so there was a few pro fighters there, some decent amateurs. So I pretty much done the same thing like I'd done in Cardiff. I just took on a load of athletes. So I think I had like 7 or 8 like full-time boxers.
Really?
One of them was pro, Galasius.
Yeah.
So I'd done a prep with him for a fight. So I took on his nutrition, his S&C, took on everything that wasn't boxing basically.
Yeah.
And mate, we got him in such good shape.
Just kind of like looking after him outside.
Yeah, literally working with the coach. Like we programmed and periodized and prioritized everything. We looked at his nutrition to like, and like, yeah, I would dial things into like stupid things like to within the hour. And to be fair to Glacius, like he followed it. And mate, yeah, we turned him into an animal, man.
Does that type of stuff make a large difference then, dialing into like the hour? I mean, what do you mean like dialing in to the hour?
Like what you would eat before training, what you'd eat after training, how long to sleep for, how long you're recovering for, how long each minute of each set's going to be, how long the rest is between that. Yeah, like that was my thing. At that level, it matters. Yeah, like, at elite stuff it matters, but for your general person, it's way too much. Yeah. So yeah, we done a camp. I think this was his 5th professional fight. He come out, boxed. There was one because I done 3 camps with him. So I think the first one he came out and just KO'd the bloke.
What, like first round?
Yeah, like first or second round, come out and just whooped him. And then
I bet that was like as
that's what you want. That's what you want to see.
That is like class, isn't it?
So I didn't corner the first one. I cornered the second one. And again, yeah, we had some guy flown in. I mean, there's always dramas, man. Like every camp's got some sort of drama, injuries or just stupidness or something with the promoters or like. And I think at the time I was enjoying it, but I think that's why I navigated away from it eventually. It's just like it's too many politics in sport.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, anyway, had some wicked results with like the boxers that I was working with. You know, some of the lads. Yeah. One of them, I think he went out. You know, he came 2nd or 3rd in. He was out in Scandinavia doing some. It was Henry I was telling you about earlier. Tommy's son. Yeah, he was having some real good success. Like things were going well, man. And then I got the opportunity to work with another fighter. But again, this is all off the back of Tony, like saying, like giving me an opportunity.
Yeah, just have a shot, like go.
He had like, I think we had at the peak like 5 professional boxers training in Tony's gym. Yeah. Then we got another lad from Bracknell, Luther. So he was coming up through the ranks. I got contacted by him. He wanted to work with me. He had a Russian promotion company who were like very Russian about everything. So they didn't know me. So I had to kind of win them over, and that took a while. It took about a year. They were kind of like, we'll let him train you, but it's on thin ice. If anything goes wrong or we're not happy, then he's getting the bin bag. So yeah, we've done some
just like added pressure on top of
it,
man. On top of it all.
Everything's pressure.
Yeah.
It's money for medals, isn't it? So if you don't win, you get the blame. It's like football managers. Like the support staff, we just get it must have been that S&C guy. It must have been. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to blame. It's easy to blame support staff and then get someone else in and get someone else in and get someone else in. So yeah, that was another thing that like in this industry, it's like you just get dropped. Do you know what I mean?
It's quite cutthroat.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's the whole elite sport thing. Like you lose one fight and then your whole career's gone. Do you know what I mean? It's and I saw that a lot. You lose one race, you don't quite do as well. Whatever, your funding gets dropped, your sponsor drops you or whatever, and then your 5-10 years of work's gone.
Yeah. So do you kind of carry that with you? Like if there was a boxer that you were in the camp and there was an issue and you got dropped, would that then have a knock-on effect, like with potentially the other boxers that you're also helping and things like that?
Not really, man, because my shit works.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Sorry, that was a stupid question. Of course it does. But
no, but there's that pressure, and without that pressure, you don't you don't do your best. So like that's why I love the boxing thing, because anytime anyone steps in a ring, it's like if it goes wrong, they can die.
Yeah.
So like for me, it would keep me up at night. Like, have I done everything I can? Has he done everything to the set, to the rep? Have I done my like due diligence in? Is he conditioned properly? Is he this? Is he that? Like that's how my brain works. Is like I have to tick off every single finite little box. So I was happy with. I wouldn't put someone in a fight unless I was happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we had some real cool success working out at TNT.
Yeah.
You know, we had, I think, one of the lads was like, I think he's got 14 or 15 national titles.
Wow.
Luther came on board. He was 8th ranked in the world at one stage.
Wow.
WBO belt. Defended his title like twice. Won it in Italy. And then, yeah, came back, fought at York Hall. That's when I walked out on Sky Sports holding his belt, and that was sick.
Really?
Yeah, it was sick,
That's so cool. Like I've seen I think I've seen the photos on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'd definitely recommend just go and have a look at kind of Louie's Instagram and just seeing all the places you have popped up and you have done things, and the images of you in corners and things like that is so cold. But walking out with a belt.
Yeah, walking out with a belt was a dream. Like York Hall was like British boxing's like mecca, do you know what I mean? It's like that's where everyone fought. Like everyone who came up through British boxing who turned into a legends like boxed at York Hall. So yeah, I got to walk out at a Matchroom show with a WBO belt with a 8th in the world ranked WBO fighter that I'd helped trained.
Yeah.
And this was like the pinnacle, and this is at the time then I got invited back to my uni. I'd done a lecture about my progress and everything so far. And then we was due to fight on a Dillian White show at the O2, and a week before the plug got pulled because of COVID.
Shit. I mean that's a.
So this is it. Like this is where I was at. Like I was like, this is my dream. I'm gonna work with
Yeah.
these elite boys. Like it's getting there, getting some publication. Like my name's getting said on these interviews and whatnot with the Russian promotion companies, and I'm getting followers from Russia. One guy, Ali Ismailov, he's the sickest fighter, man. One of the most gifted and amazing fighters I've ever seen in person. I think he's like an intercontinental champ over in America now. But he's like, I think he's from Dagestan. Yeah. So he's like that Khabib type.
Right, okay.
Lives in the mountains, strict religious, animal.
Strict lifestyle.
Animal, mate. Animal. And he flew over from Russia to do a camp with me, with Gennady Gordienko, who was the head coach for the promotion company. So like things were popping, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
building.
I'm 22, I'm 21.
Wow.
Like, so it was all happening quick. And then there was it was on the horizon. We was going to open like a performance centre down in Southampton with the Russian guys. And and then COVID hit, man. It just literally pulled the rug. Everything that was going on stopped. I couldn't work.
Yeah.
It was a fucking nightmare.
And so how far would you say into COVID? Because you said that PSI, it was like you kind of started focusing on the sports injury side.
Yeah.
On like 3 to 4 years ago. So that is roughly COVID time, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So
that is kind of coming out on the back end of 2020, I suppose.
Yeah. So like I would always do treatment anyway. So like one of my degrees is like assessing and treating injuries. So guys will come in, you tweak a hamstring or have a dodgy ankle or a bit of a shoulder thing and whatever. So I've got the skills to assess that and implement stuff and treat it if needed to keep them going. So that's why I think I was worth my weight in gold to the lads, is because they didn't have to go and see this guy and that guy. Like if they needed anything sorted, I could do it.
Yeah. And you're already in their corner anyway.
I'm already on the camp. So it's like, rather than an S&C session, we might do a bit of an injury rehab session, or do some dry needling or acupuncture or electrotherapy or whatever it needed, or some joint adjustments or whatever it needs, just to keep them going.
Just some casual stuff.
Yeah. So like, I think that's where I differed, and I kind of incorporated, like one of my philosophies with all my athletes was like, you never train on a niggle.
Right.
Like you never train on an injury. So we do what we could using everything that I've learned to like you know, if you've got like I don't know, you're warming up, you throw a shot and your shoulder's a bit gammy or whatever, and it's like, let's do this, and this, we're going to do this and that. And then, you know, you do a bit of shadow boxing again, all right, it's not pinching anymore or whatever. So, yeah, that was like my philosophy. So I was always doing the injury stuff anyway, like on the side. Like I was kind of keeping people going. But yeah, when COVID hit, it was like, couldn't work. So at the time, TNT had just moved into the bigger unit, so I'd built my clinic in there. Because I was all of this, I was literally going down at 6 o'clock in the morning, like riding my push bike down 6 o'clock in the morning to TNT. He'd give me the keys. He didn't open till 9. So I had 3 hours in the morning where I'd done all my training with all my athletes and everything. And then my mum and dad had a spare bedroom because I was living at my girlfriend at the time's house. Like, we're married now.
Yeah.
But yeah, my girlfriend at the time, I was living at her house, so there was a spare bedroom.
Yeah.
So I literally put a massage bed in a spare bedroom. And that's kind of like, that's where PSI started.
Yeah.
It was like people come to my house, they would hear about me, book a session. I think, you know, back in the day, it was like 20 or 30 quid for a session.
Yeah.
Because I just needed to get a bit of money in, so I'd work on that.
It's building the portfolio as well.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I say, I was 21 years old, so like 21, 22 years old, so I'm young. Like I was working with my dad as well, so I'd do early mornings down at the gym, and then like I'd go on site with my dad because he had a landscaping firm. So then I'd go, you know, knocking up mixes and, you know, laying blocks and slabs and doing whatever he needed me to do on site. And then I'd come home, and then, to be fair to my mum, she'd have like food ready, so I'd literally eat, and then half an hour later I'd have like 3 or 4 hours of treatment clients. So like my days were like 12-15 hour days every day.
Yeah.
While I was getting up the early stages of what PSI is now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
so how did you find it transitioning from I suppose working with elite level boxers and athletes and sprinters and things like that, where their body is kind of everything's down to a T, isn't it? Every detail of how they're training and their nutrition and things like that. How was that different to then working with the public? I imagine it's very different because nobody lives that kind of that athlete lifestyle as a regular.
Yeah, and this is kind of the thing. It's like I said before, you're only ever adding like 1 and 2%.
Yeah.
With athletes, but if you get someone who does nothing and you get them to do something,
yeah,
like the difference is unreal.
Yeah, that's more than the percent, isn't it?
Oh, mate. Yeah, like you can change like someone completely in 3 months.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
They'll look like a different human. They'll carry themselves different. Their mentality will change. They're like, so I think that's where the reward comes in a bit more, because the elite sport world, it's amazing. It looks good under lights. You get belts and trophies and sponsorship deals and whatnot, but there's no substance to it. There's like, you're just the next guy, like, and that's one thing that I didn't like. It wasn't fulfilling in that way. It's like, okay, cool, we've won this, we've won that, but when you get someone who's in agony, or someone who hasn't been able to train for 4 years or something, and then you see them get their life back, and all of a sudden they got like a little bit more of a sparkle in their eye, and they're carrying themselves a bit taller, and then like you've made a 200% difference.
Yeah, you've turned someone's life around. I mean, someone not being able to get into the gym, not being able to train, and then all of a sudden they're back training, they're doing things injury free, or they're back to work even. And things like that.
Back to work, all of that.
And it just...
You give them their life back, and that's like...
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like there's more value in that.
It's a beautiful thing to watch.
It's a cool thing to watch, man.
Yeah.
And like, I never take credit, like, 'cause it's not me doing it. Like, they've still got to do it. They've still got to get up. They've still got to do what they're told.
Yeah.
They've still got to come here. They've still got to do everything that's asked of them. So, you know, it's amazing what anyone can achieve with just a little bit of guidance. And a pat on the back now and again saying, good job. It's like, and it's so easy, man, and that's in everyone. Is like, you can be down and out and the most broken you've ever been, and you just get the right bit of advice and the right someone looking over you, and looking after you and just praising you along the way, and like that's in everyone, man. And I've seen people come back from the brink. Do you know what I mean? Like deep depressions, like not wanting to live anymore because they're in agony.
Yeah.
And they ain't left their house in 6 months, and
and
you get them up here and you just see a broken person and you're like, and that's where like I look at all my training and everything and I'm like, there wasn't none of this in there. Like it's all good when it's all shiny trophies, you're in institutions and you're wearing your fancy gear and you're getting taking places in the back of a blacked out Russian fucking cab with bodyguards and it's cool, but it's not. It's only because there's money to protect. It's only because there's an investment to protect and this, that and the other. But when you just help everyday people, man, it's cool. It's really nice. And it's like, I guess it's probably as I'm getting older, is that there's more value in that than kind of supporting the machine of elite sport. Because a lot of the people I treat now are ex-elite sport athletes. And they've done their thing, they've played for England in rugby. They've done all the cool stuff, and then it's like career ends, see you later.
Yeah.
But then you've got 20 years of injuries. You've got the 2 knee operations, the hip operation, the shoulder dislocation, the this, the that.
Yeah.
And then you're out of your institution. You're not seeing your mates anymore. You're not going to the training ground every day. You haven't got elite physio support. You haven't got a doctor. You haven't got, and then you're just isolated. And then then all of a sudden financially things are different. Yeah. So they haven't got the money coming in from their games, or like it'll turn your life upside down like that. And then that's when you're lost. And that's when it doesn't have to be elite sport people. It could be, you walk along the road, bang, big heart attack or car accident, you break your leg into pieces, and then your life's in tatters, and you're like, they eventually they end up coming here. I've heard about you. Apparently you're good at just fixing stuff. And it's like, yeah, cool. And then it's kind of like looking at the last 15 years of experience and whatnot and going, like, what is your first step? What do you do? Yeah. What treatment can I offer? How do we manage your pain? Do I need to get someone else involved? Do I need to chat to some of the consultants I know or whatever? Or it's cool, man. It's cool. It's really, really, and I think I found myself in that role more than the elite sport stuff.
Yeah, it's like I said at the start of the episode. So I have known you for a little while. So I came to you, I think it was the beginning of last year, and I'd torn my hip flexor during squatting. And it was just so like you it was that type of thing that I walked in almost with an injury and walked out almost without one.
I remember because we done your strength testing, didn't we?
Yeah, and it was just like, it was completely different. Like, don't get me wrong, dry needle in.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, it's rough. Especially when I do it.
Yeah, it's like it was one of those things. I was kind of laying on the bed and I mean it was the front of the hip flexor, wasn't it? It was right in here, and it was you were putting needles way too close to places you don't want needles to go, and I'm just kind of sitting there a little bit worried. And then you went, right, you're going to feel a bit of a twinge now. And I had acupuncture before, and I was like, oh yeah, a bit of a twinge. Flipping out, I jumped and yelled when that thing happened. So, and it was just so, I mean, it something that really sold yourself to me, so I started recommending you to people, was the fact that when I got up and go to leave, you go, well, I hope to never see you again. And like, well, I'm back with a podcast this time. So. But it's
that's
like,
what it's about, man.
Yeah, it kind of set you apart in my mind from some of the others, where I suppose you can go to some of the larger companies and they'll go, right, yeah, okay, you've done this, right, you need a session every week for 16 weeks. And then coming to see you, I've had one session, it took 45 minutes, and you just went, right, I probably shouldn't have to see you again. Yeah. And it's like, and that kind of set you apart for me. And even my missus has come to see you now, and she, so it kind of it's that word of mouth that also
that I don't advertise. That's what I say. I don't use the internet. I don't I isolate myself from as much of that as possible. And to be honest, like I've had a lot of scrutiny. Like I've had people in the field like try and slate what I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Man.
wow. Where's that kind of coming from? What type of, is it other people in the same industry that?
Yeah, a lot of it is these kind of the medical guys don't like what I do,
Right.
because I fix the body without medicine.
Yeah.
But it's all based on like really deeply studied like physiological and anatomical principles, and I've kind of made it up. Like it's experimenting, and that's like what most of my career has been, is how do we do things, why does it work, how does it work, how can I get it to work more effectively, should we try it, okay, let's try it, here's a case study, okay, there's 10 more case studies, there's 20 case studies, and I've probably treated over 5,000 injuries now at this stage in my career. I've probably treated over 3,000 people.
That's just mental, isn't it? And especially in 3 years.
Not just in here, yeah. So like that's my whole career. So probably since I was started working in clinics at age 18. So that's 11 years now. So I'm 29 now.
Yeah.
So in the last 11 years, and then on top of that, I don't know, I've trained hundreds of elite athletes. So I've seen everything now. Oh well, I thought I had, and then you start advertising. Well, sort of get a contact out of the blue from someone with an email of this and that's happened, and you start hearing about conditions you never heard of, and then you do a bit of research, look into the underpinning kind of philosophy and physiology, and then I start racking my brain of what do I know, how can I get that to work, or how do I get it to be a bit better than it is now. And my job is just constantly problem solving, and that's what I like about it. It's because I've got a busy brain, so like I like to know stuff and I like to solve problems, so my job just fits me now.
I mean, when it comes to, I suppose the saying would fit that no 2 days are essentially the same.
Never.
But what's the most kind of common area that you find yourself working on?
Lower back pain.
Yeah.
Tons of lower back pain.
Yeah.
Neck pain.
Yeah.
More in gym population, shoulder pain.
Obviously I didn't know what you were going to answer then, and what I would have assumed that you would have answered was probably knees.
Oh really?
Yeah, I would have thought that the knees would have been something that you're working on more. So do you find that people with, I mean, you said if it's the gym, it's more shoulders. So when you're saying about the lower back pain, I take it that's not necessarily a gym injury. Is that more of like a lifestyle, kind of slouching at an office desk and things like that?
Yeah, it's part of that. And then you've obviously got like tradesmen, lads who have been picking things up and carrying them around for 40 years.
Yeah.
And their back is just shot. And then, you get the big back blowouts or disc hemorrhages or, ripped facet joints or, the big bang pop shit, hit the deck, out of work for a while type stuff. And that's kind of the thing. And this is like the difference of acute versus chronic injury. Acute injuries are quite easy to deal with, to be completely honest. Like if someone rolls their ankle, how many rolled ankles have there been in history in the last 200 years of Western medicine? They're the structures. This is what happens. You get a tear in the collagen complex. The body lays down some new stuff. Don't injure it anymore while it's healing. Strengthen it up over time. It'd probably be pretty brand new.
Yeah.
If you do it right and you catch it at the right time and you see the right professional, obviously. But it's stuff that doesn't go away. Like you get a bad back, like you twinge your, pick up a plant pot, back goes bang. Have a few weeks of hobbling around and then you're all right.
Yeah, you kind of wake up with a bit of a stiff neck or something like that.
Yeah.
After 2-3 days, doesn't it?
It's the stuff that's like, I've had a bad back for 20 years.
Yeah.
Wake up every morning, struggle to get out of bed. Missus has got to put my socks on for me.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I treat a lot more now. Of like, well, what the hell is this? Why is it there? What is it? What is your nervous system doing to make you constantly have back pain. Like, what's gone on? What's happened?
Yeah.
And like, the more in the last 2 years, I've started to read a lot more into the psychology of pain and health conditions, and how the nervous system interprets different sensations. Like, there are no pain receptors in the system.
Right.
Like, the pain lives in the brain.
Yeah.
So you've got like mechanoreceptors, which pick up like touch. Then you've got chemoreceptors, which will pick up chemical changes. But there's no pain receptors. It's just the combination of them will trigger certain parts of the brain to relay pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why have you got a bad back all the time? Scan it. There's no structural damage. Go and see a consultant. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with your back. It's like, yeah, but I've had back pain for 20 years. I can't get out of bed in the morning. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with your back. And it's like, yeah, get some massages on it. It doesn't do anything. Go and see a Chinese medicine guys or whatever and get some acupuncture. It doesn't do anything. Come and see me. 20 years of back pain's gone in 3 or 4 sessions.
It's mental, isn't it? It's
It is mad.
That can turn around like that.
And it's not, and I don't do it like and this is why I don't like the TikTok and Instagram and YouTube thing of like some guy comes in all crippled up and then some guy does a magical click.
Yes.
And then he walks out brand new. It don't work like that. You get the very rare ones where it does, and it's cool. Yeah. It's super cool. You get someone who's got a bit of a crick neck, and then you just free up the joint, do a little manipulation or whatever, and they're happy as Larry, and they're good as gold. But it doesn't work like that. You kind of. And this is where I'm getting to a stage of my career now where I'm starting to look at things differently. Like I said, I was institutionalized in a sense before, where it gave me a very good backbone and a very good grounding on human physiology and anatomy and biomechanics. And but the real world's taught me to listen to people about what their symptoms are. And I'm talking in an injury context. Like, I can do this in the training context. Like I say, the training stuff, I love doing it, but I want them characters, unless it grabs my attention, I'm not interested.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested in someone who needs to lose a few pounds because they got a wedding. Like, go see a PT guy for that. Yeah. Go see someone else for that. Like, I can do it, of course I can. But so it's not gonna excite me, and it's not gonna get my brain going.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's kind of what I almost ran out of. Like, you think 21, 22 years old, I'm training elite guys. I've got guys who can, deadlift and back squat 250, 270 kilos at 70 kilos body weight. And they're running just over 10 seconds in 100 meters. And
that's mental, isn't it?
They'll stand and broad jump, ridiculous, like 2.5, 3 meters just from a standing jump. And you've got guys who've got counter movement jumps that are just ridiculous. And I've helped do all that, and it's cool, but it's like, I don't know, it's like being a mechanic. You work on Ferraris as an apprentice.
Yeah.
Like, you get used to it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Ferrari isn't that interesting anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if I get that old bag of scrap?
Yes. And you do it up. And
do you know what I mean?
Got a sleeper car.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like, that's kind of where I'm at now. And my dream and my goal really is, I want to do a series, and I kind of messed around with it before, called The Unfixables.
Yep.
And I want to get like 4 or 5 people who have like done everything, exhausted every option in the medical world. So maybe they've had their surgeries, maybe they're on loads of pain relief, and their pain and that isn't under control, or they're still suffering, or and then go through a sequence of like documenting what I do, how I do it, why we're doing it, catch up with them at frequencies, how they're getting on. And kind of, I guess, just publicise what I'm doing a bit more.
I mean, I think, you've sold me. I think
it would be a cool watch,
incredible thing.
And I think this is the thing, like you said about the people, like, you need a certain amount of sessions and whatnot, and like the body don't work like that. Like, it's not.
No.
There's no rule for how long one person's injury is going to take and how long someone else's injury. Like within the text and everything, you can generalize stuff. You know, you look at a 10,000 rolled ankles, you'd probably be all right in about 6 weeks on average. But you might have someone who's all right in 3 weeks and someone who's 6 months later, they still get in pain. Do you know what I mean? So you can generalize things, and then, you know, I always do get so how long do you think? And it's like, and I'm
well guilty of that.
Yeah.
Well guilty of asking that. So,
and it's normally, if you're good with your rehab and what I've told you, it will probably be around this. Or I like to work in percentages of improvement. So if someone comes in and they've blown out a shoulder or something, and, you know, they can't move it and it's all painful, I say, look, what would you score your shoulder percentage-wise of function? You know, I'm at 10%. All right, we'll do some treatment. After the treatment, let's hopefully you get 20-30% out of it.
Yeah.
And then, all right, cool, feels a bit better. All right, do your exercises. Right, in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll add another 20%. And then, so like it's goal, like, it's, goal orientated results. So, like, and again, this is all from studying psychology. It's like, it's the dopaminergic system. It's like, do something and get a reward from it. It's like the golden carrot, isn't it? You know, like, it's always dangling in front of you. So if you look at it and I say, look, Miles, man, your knees, like, it's going to take 6 months.
Yep.
You're going to look at 6 months and go, fuck, that's a big hill.
Yes. Yeah.
But I would say, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. You know, you'll probably be 20% better if you do this, this, and this. You come in, oh, cool, your knee's looking good. Yes, it's probably about 20% better. And you go, oh, cool, everything I've done's worked. I'm 20% better now. And then another 2 weeks, it's like you're another 20%. Another 2 weeks, 20%, 20%. And before you know it, you've hit 100% in 12 weeks or whatever, 3 months to 6 months or whatever it takes. But it's just, you know, it's like what, like, again, like the book I read is one of Jordan Peterson's book. It's like, if you make any task small enough, you'll always be able to complete it.
Wow,
do you know what I mean? It's like you just, and that's normally what you come in people in catastrophe states. It's like, you know, I've been agony on my back. I ain't been at work for 3 months. You know, I ain't been able to pay my mortgage. My missus has had enough of me because I'm miserable. I'm flat out taking tramadols. I can't function. I can't play with my kids. And like, you just got to sit there and listen to people and be like, right, what's step one? Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's just look at your back and see what the hell is going on. Okay, we'll do some assessment. All right, you got this and this, and you might have a bit of this, and this is how it works, and this is why it's doing this. And it's like, you just break it down, and then you say, so the first stage is, you know, they might have had a bulging disc or whatever, or a herniated disc. We need to stabilize that disc. So by that, I'm going to do these techniques, and this is what this does, and then you're going to do this, and it's going to help with this. And you can see, all right, cool. And then all of a sudden, you give them that first step, and then see them in 2-3 weeks or whatever, or however long, or 6 weeks, or however long I kind of think is appropriate. And then that's the process, man. That's the process. And that's what, like, if you got something, your knee's going to take 6 months, I need to see you every week, it's going to be £50, I'll see you for 10 minutes, it's going to cost you, I don't know, $3,000, and it's not the way to treat people, man. No. That's not treatment. That's just getting money out of people.
So it's weird. So when I've been telling as many people as I can that I've been coming to see you, and that I'm gonna get you on an episode of the podcast. And I was speaking to someone the other day, and I was saying what you kind of do, and they said, I know someone that used to do that. But they had a building with 5 rooms in it, and they'd see all 5 people simultaneously. They'll go into one room, do a little bit, walk into the next room, do a little bit, and then you just work in circles around. And obviously he was probably earning an absolute fucking killing from it. But there's also the outside point of view of like, am I getting this man's kind of full attention? Am I getting the right treatment that I kind of require? If he's also like, is he in my room also thinking about room number 3 and going, right, when I get in there I need to go and do this? You know what I mean?
I mean, that they're called volume clinics,
right?
And it's a very chiropractic way of doing stuff. So like, and this is the thing, like, I call myself a sports injury specialist or whatever, but I've kind of studied a lot of chiropractic, osteopathic, physio, sports rehab.
Just the body in
just every way of looking at the body I've studied. So there's naturopathy, there's loads of different types, and it's just, you know, they're kind of like their own little religions. Like they're all worshipping this a greater God, and then they kind of analyze, you know, the prophets underneath it oh yeah, but a chiropractor, yeah, but it's the skeleton, or no, it's the nerves, no, it's the way the body moves, no. And they kind of hang their hat a bit more than the other ones on different things. So yeah, chiropractic, it is a bit of a, and how true this story is, I don't know, but it was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and the guy who founded chiropractic was in late 1800s, early 1900s. I think he found it. I think it's 1901 or 19. You know, don't fact check me on that. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But the guy who kind of founded chiropractic, his son was a con man, and supposedly he I don't know if he killed his dad or he kind of knocked his dad off or something, and he took on the dad's chiropractic clinic and started saying, if you've got headaches, fevers, colds, if you've got this, you need to come 3 times a week. And and I don't know how true the story is, man, and that kind of just got grandfathered into how they look at things.
Yeah.
So, you know, perhaps there was a time where it was a bit more we'll see how you get on. But and this is the thing, man, we've all got to make a living, haven't we? Like the thing is like I've always said, like I'm great at my job, but I'm a shit businessman. I don't care about money.
Right.
Like I genuinely, I've got to make a living, I've got to pay for this place, I've got to pay for my house, and we've all got to have a life, haven't we?
Yeah.
But my like truest goal is to help whoever comes through that door. Like, I've had to set my price to accommodate my life, and like I'm not extravagant in any way, or like I'm just a normal bloke. Like, I'm not really interested in
I think people, especially from this episode, I think people will see that straight away, that you, at the end of the day, you're normal bloke.
Just a bloke, just a bloke who likes the body, like and that's it. Like, because I remember one of your things before was like, who am I outside of my job? And like, I'm not really anyone outside of my job. Like, and this is one thing that's really cool, is like, you know, when you were a kid and you go out playing with each other, and you give each other little roles, you know, like like cops and robbers, or you know, them sorts of games, and you transform yourself into a policeman or a crook or a and like, I feel that's what you do, or what people should do with their profession.
Right. Okay.
So it's like your profession gives you a means of a way to act. So like, I would, I guess, be considered a healthcare practitioner.
Okay.
Of sorts, yeah. If you see me at the pub drinking 10 pints of beer every Friday and Saturday, and I'm fighting people, and I'm turning up work and I'm pissed out my head still and smell of booze, and like, that's not a good framework to operate as a healthcare practitioner.
Yeah.
And it's like, it took me a little while where I almost had like a split personality of like, I had who I was at work and I had who I was at home.
Yeah.
But that was just, you know, I was just a bit of a nightmare growing up. Like, I was naughty. So I kind of managed to fragment my personality as such, where I could behave myself in when I had to behave myself, but when I wanted to get up to no good, I would do that as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's only in the last probably 4 or 5 years of like working with a psychologist that I've become one person.
Okay.
And it sounds weird to say.
Yeah.
But
which way did it go? Did you bring your outside of work personality into work, or did you bring your work personality out? Or was it a
merge of both? Yeah. Like, I was almost ashamed to be so bright. Because like, you know, man, like, working class background in school, like, if you're clever, you're a fucking nerd, and you're a knobhead. Do you know what I mean? But I was still up to no good, and chilling with all my mates, and, you know, like you do when you're a teenager and whatever. But I could still get good grades. And I just realised, like, it was when I was 16, I went to college, and I was just being a dick the first year, you know, like turning up stoned and just being a 16-year-old.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just being a turd. But I loved training, and I was always training. So I guess that's one thing I'm massively am thankful for. Like that I had the structure of boxing growing up, and I could tap into.
It's an extremely disciplined sport, isn't
mate.
it? And the amount of people that do kind of put their troublesome or the kid that doesn't necessarily have that discipline in their life, and they go through boxing and all of a sudden they're a complete different person. It's a sport that changes you.
Yeah, and I think it was like one thing why I kind of gave it up is like you almost find like a second father figure within your coach.
Right. Okay.
My coach was a fucking nightmare, man. Do you know what I mean? He was a loose cannon. So that's why like lads like Tommy and are so important, because you get people who have got no real role model or guidance as such, and that wasn't my case, but you know, young lads in that do, and they go and see someone who's in good nick, they can look after themselves, you know, they're a father figure, they're someone you can look up to and go, do you know what, that's a top bloke that is. And then when they genuinely care about you. So yeah, I'm glad I had the structure of the boxing, because when I was when I was growing up, I was a toe rag. When I was 16, I was at college. I was still training hard, man. I mean, like, me and my pal Harry, like, at 16 years old, I was a athletic freak.
Yeah.
Like, from the age of about 14, 15, you know, my parents got called into school in year 11, because they thought I was on steroids. Because like
sorry, that is the biggest compliment ever. Surely,
me and my training partner at the time, George, we were just freaks, mate. Like, because I was training from a young age. Like from 13, 14, I told you my whole thing was performance.
Yes,
So I would read every book, I'd read every bodybuilding magazine, watch every YouTube video on how to build muscle, how to build strength. And I was doing that in the gym, and there was like a part of me, you know, I said about this fragmented personality. It's like, I don't know, I've always had like mental battles as well, where for me, there was something fulfilling in like, I can't remember if it was like an Arnold thing that I watched, or it was like, cause you like break down your body to repair as something better. And I always had this part of me that never felt like I was good enough.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can rip every sinew in my body and I'll come back better, I'll like the person I am.
Yeah.
And that was how I trained. Like, there were like sandbags, I think there were 50 kilo sandbags at the gym. I'd stick one of them on my back and just lunge until I couldn't lunge anymore.
Flipping hell, yeah.
And, you know, at 16 years old, I could push 150 off my chest. It's shoulder pressing 50 kilo dumbbells.
Yeah, I understand why you were called in and asked whether you were on steroids.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, the reason was we done like a fitness test thing at school. I think I done 70 press ups in a minute and 68 sit ups in a minute.
In a minute.
Yeah. And me and George both done it. And George had a barrel chest. Like, he was a different build to me. I've always been quite like compact, but George was a lump. A great big chest on him, and like, they called us in because they thought we was taking steroids at like 15. And then the same thing happened in college.
Yeah.
Problem being in college, you know, we were a bit more lively, like, especially my pal Harry, like, you know, you get a bit heated, and then because you're all charged up, and when you're training and whatever, you know, start throwing chairs around in the lecture theatres and start kicking off. Getting locked in a room, and do you know what I mean? I was just a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, anyway, I blew my shoulder out real bad when I was 16.
Yeah.
And that knocked me, man. Like that completely knocked me. But where I was going with the story was when I was just turned 17, so it would have been my second year of college. I always remember, like, there was one of my lecturers, Martin Watkins. The bloke was a legend. He was cool. And he took me into the office. I think I was playing up, and he just took me to the office, and he just sat me down. He said, "Look, Louie, like, you're a bright kid. Like, I've seen something in you that I don't see in a lot of people."
Yeah.
And he said, "Here's something I'll let you do." He goes, "Have you ever thought about going to university?" I was like, "Nah. Like, no one in my family's ever been uni."
Yeah.
What would I go uni for? Like, I just work for my dad's firm, or, you know, just...
What did your dad do?
So he's a landscaper.
Oh,
so
okay.
so
Yeah,
I used to work with him throughout as a kid, like knocking up mixes and just labouring and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was like, like, I can earn a bit of money with my dad, and he said, look, you can go to uni, mate. Like, you ever thought about uni? I was like, nah. And he goes, you need to get these grades, but you fucked up your first year. So I'm going to let you sit your first year and your second year together in your second year. And so I done it. Like I was getting up, get to college. The moment that place opened, I was there. The moment that place closed, I left. The moment that place was open, I was there. The moment that place closed,
you started putting in the
mate, started grafting.
Yeah.
And then bang, got triple distinction star, I think, or no, 2 distinction stars and a distinction.
Flipping hell.
Got accepted to Cardiff Metropolitan University to do sports conditioning, rehabilitation and massage. And because I went to see the uni, man, and that place was like, the world's a big place, isn't it? Like, like where I was brought up in Reading, like we didn't have anything cool. Like they took all our skate parks away, so we just used to smash shit up and just be knobheads. Like it was the kids had been out. Do you know what I mean? That was us lot. And then I've gone to this place and they've got the NIAC, it's called, the National Indoor Athletic Centre, and it's like a £25 million facility. There's a like a running track in the middle of it, and then the running track's got like force plates embedded in it, and there's 2 gyms and there's laboratories, and I've never seen anything like this before. I've gone in this arena, I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't know places like this existed. like you only see them in like American college football, like films and that. And you see him go in there and oh man, I just remember this feeling of like, I've got to come here. Like, what is this all about? So that was kind of my inspiration. Like Martin kind of like give me a kick up the arse.
Yeah.
And then going to see this place and then kind of putting it all together. Kind of give me some motivation of like, I'm going to get out of Reading. I'm going to not do what all my mates are doing, which is just stupidness. And move 120 miles away from home and just like whatever I do at the uni or whatever I do in Cardiff, I'm going to give 100% to. Like I didn't drink, I didn't go out drinking, partying, nothing like that. I ended up having a bit of a drink problem, to be honest, because I struggled with like the isolation. But because I went from all my mates and whatever, I had my girlfriend and everything, like we still stayed together, but all of a sudden I'm like 2 hours away, and like because I went into the social thing, like everyone was out partying and drinking and I didn't go out. So I ended up isolated a lot of the time, but it ended up being a blessing in the long run because everyone would go out on the piss and I'd stay in and read.
Yeah.
And then again, I just fully threw myself into like reading literature and books and studying the human body and like pretty much still what I do now. Yeah. And that was kind of the start of it, really. Yeah. Yeah, it was sick, man.
No, it's really good because it's like it's a very humble beginning, isn't it? I suppose from what you're saying, and now I mean we're sat in your unit. We're sat in your unit talking about your business that you've built and you've done, and you've now got someone working with you.
So my colleague Eddie, he's being trained up by me. He's good, man.
So it's now that you're not only are you at a point that you've got a business that is working and growing by not even advertising yourself. Like I heard about you through word of mouth.
And it was the way I roll, man.
It wasn't one mouth. It was everyone. It was so many people at my gym recommended me to come to you. So and then I think everyone that has come to you also does the same. Because it's like, oh, have you been to see him? Oh I went to see him.
He sorted me out and whatever.
He's real good. He done this and this. I was like, oh, okay. And then it just grows that way. So I mean, you're talking about this like, I'll just go and work with my dad, and you just kind of had that mindset of like, well, that's what I'll just go and do, and you found yourself in university, which you said you were the first one in your family to go to, coming out with really good degrees, and now you're you're running your own business and things like that. I mean, we're sat in your unit. This isn't
it's
anyone
mad.
else's, is
So
it?
like my life goals were, I want to open my own gym by the time I'm 40,
Yeah,
and I've always wanted to own a Maserati.
yeah,
I opened my own gym at 26 and
Yeah.
bought my first Maserati at 28.
yeah. It's a nice Maserati. It's sat outside.
Yeah,
It's lovely.
sick,
Isn't it?
But like, that was another existential crisis. It's like, I had this vision of like what my life, I wanted it to be like.
Yeah,
And like that carried me through like the lowest lows. And like when you get it, it breaks you.
yeah.
Like, and the
Yeah.
only thing, you know, like when Tyson Fury won all the world titles and lost the
Yes.
plot.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
You're like, my whole life, yeah. So like, I always said to like, because Chloe supported me throughout this whole thing, man, and we've been
Chloe's
through.
your
my
wife.
wife, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been through hell at times, yeah. Like she's worked 60, 80 hour weeks to help support my uni, and she's done a lot for me. So I always said to her, look, I'm going to get to a point where I can just support us.
Yeah.
So that was my first, like, I guess, real financial goal. And that first time that happened was like just post-COVID. So I was like, look, I don't want you, because, you know, the whole COVID thing, she was working in retail, and I was like, I don't want you round people. Like, it's meant to be this deadly disease going around and rah, rah, rah. So that was the first time that she was able to give up work. And I mean, like, it ain't like I'm loaded, but I earn enough where, she, you know, like, I can cover that 10 grand a year that that retail work would do. And then, do you know what I mean? So that was my first goal, like financial goal. And then the second one, I always said by the time I'm 40, I'm going to have my own gym. And then, you know, I've always wanted to own a Maserati. So they were like, if I hit that at 70, I was happy. But then, like, when things just grow and you graft so much that, you know, at 26 I opened this place, and then
I mean, it's got some. So just kind of around us, there's bits of equipment. I mean, we're sat on benches, aren't we?
yeah.
It's kind of like, it's very much the gym setting here. What was that like coming across? Coming across this place and going, hold on, you know what, I could have my own place, and I could work out of here. And I mean, I'm not really funny. This is kind of, it's not really on anything. It's not in the middle. It's not in the middle of a town centre or anything like that. It's very much almost in the middle of nowhere, just outside of Henley, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that like? Kind of the process of getting your own place, building that, and building upon that.
Stressful.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
So 3 years I took this place on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, I can't even describe it. Like, it nearly, it ruined my health, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing well in TNT because I had barely no overheads.
Yeah.
And I was doing a bit of work. Like, I could charge cheap because I didn't really have anything going out.
Yeah.
And I was earning pretty good money, and I was happy, and I don't know, but I wanted something bigger for myself. So
Yeah.
I wanted something I could grow into. So I thought, I'll have a little look at some units, and you know, me and Chloe drive around. We looked at loads of stuff, and we come across this place because I found an old advert, and I rang the number, and they're like, well, we haven't got the particular one, but we got some units up here. So when I come to look at this, like, it's literally like, it was an empty shell with, like, you probably see it underneath it, like some manky blue carpet tiles. It was like a school office.
Yeah.
I think it was an IT firm who was in here before with some desks and whatnot. It was mouldy everywhere.
It couldn't be further from that
it was,
kind of look now, can it?
And then there was another little unit around the corner that was a bit cheaper, and I don't know, man. Again, it was my wife's belief in me, man, because she was like, go for it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm thinking, it's a lot of money, man, and I don't know, and then I just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
So I looked into the best way of opening it. So I opened a limited company. So if it went tits up, I could fold the limited company, and nothing would come back on me. And I looked at, you know, so I didn't have really, I probably had about 15 grand saved. That pretty much went up in smoke pretty quick. We had to redo the ceiling, and then all the fit out and everything, and then
the equipment.
Yeah, the thing was
expensive.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
equipment was expensive. Managed to get that on like a lease to buy thing.
Yeah.
It was like 400 quid a month. The rent was like 1,200 quid a month.
Yeah.
Then bills, blah blah blah. So it was costing about 1,800 to £2,000 a month to run. But then
Wow. Yeah.
after 4 or 5 months, cost of living crisis.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like on a shoestring budget between running my house and running this place,
Mm.
and then I've got to find another 500-600 quid a month more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, like I had probably a year of sleepless nights. Like I used to get heart palpitations and panic attacks and fucking thought I was dying of shit. I lost loads of weight.
Yeah. It's just
Put
stress,
strain on my
innit?
relationship, man.
Yeah.
In the end, I ended up developing like neurological disorder of like I just end up in agony. So I wake up in the middle of the night and my whole body would like go into spasm. And I mean, I was burning a candle at both ends for a long time. Like I was going to work a whole day at TNT, coming here, like doing the building work, painting, doing this, that, and the other, leaving at 2 a.m, going home, going to sleep for 5-6 hours, going to do a day's work. I was doing that 7 days a week for 3 months to get this place up and running. Then I opened this place, and then it's like trying to get as much work in as possible. But like that's always been my work ethic. But it came to a front with my health.
Yeah.
Like I even said to you, like when I was doing a whole day on site, doing training before it, and then coming home and doing 3-4 hours of treatments and massage and shit. And even when I moved back to Cardiff after my masters, I want to try and make a go of things again. I was up at 4 a.m, going and training, doing a day's work, coming home. Then on the weekends, I'd drive back to Reading, do 12 sessions in a weekend, drive back, do another. Like I've just always grafted like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, it cooked me, mate. Completely.
Yeah.
Like I got diagnosed with chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
Fibromyalgia.
Wow.
I mean, this time last year, I was done.
Yeah.
Like, hung the gloves up. Like, I was so low. Just from pushing through that 2 years of just that stress and that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like I literally said to her, to Chloe, I was like, I'm done. Like, I ain't doing this no more. Like, I can't do it. Like, I haven't got it in me. Like, I've got no fight left.
You've given everything.
I've given everything. Like, I'm out. Like, oh man, yeah. Like, so I got put on meds, and the meds were fucking with me. Like, I was crashing into shit and getting done for speeding. I couldn't function.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, just have to rebuild myself again from scratch. So like, that's part again of like what I was saying. As I get older and mature, it's like I know what it's like to have enough. Like when your health's just in such a bad way.
Yeah.
That you got to figure out how the hell to get back. So that was one hell of an insightful year. Like, and I'm much better now. But I had to slow everything down. Like, I had to cut my work hours in half. I've just learned to like just not worry about things as much.
Yeah.
Like it will work out in the end. Like I don't even know what I was doing, man. I was like a hamster in a wheel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of lost my purpose. I'd lost my focus. I was just trying to make the numbers add up, and yeah, I think I completely lost myself for a good 2 or 3 years. Like, yeah, man, it's a hell of a process. Like, and like I said to you, like I'm no one outside of my business. Like my life is my work.
Yeah.
And I get depressed. Like if I don't work for more than a week, my wife's like, go to work.
Really?
Like I find purpose in helping people. Like I can't deal with myself if I ain't helping someone. Like because I've got too much going on in my head all the time. I need to solve problems. I need to like. I don't know if I'm just wired up different, but.
You find almost that you're pouring into yourself by pouring into others, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like
helping people in your current role, I suppose.
Yeah, man, it's like you tell an artist not to paint, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Tell a musician not to play instruments. Like they'll soon lose their mind because it's
That's
what I'm put on this earth to do. It's like the weirdest feeling.
Yeah.
But I've only really accepted that in the last year. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just always had this weird thing in my own head of like not really knowing who I was or what I'm doing. Or I think everyone has it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially like in your 20s and whatever. Like, I've done all this. I'm not even 30 yet.
Yeah.
So I think everyone's got an aspect of like, you don't really know who you are, what you're doing. And that's what the thing I've loved about like working with Eddie is because he was lost. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't know what he was doing. He was just, you know, faffing about and like you do in life and
Yeah.
going up the pub. And
How old is Eddie?
he's 26.
Okay.
And like, because I offered him the way it come about was he done his massage qualification and was like, can I use you as a body to get some hours in? And I was like, yeah, cool, of course. Like, I'm always happy to help people with that sort of thing. So we come up and he done some treatment and like he had this knack for like finding bits that people don't normally find, like they're called trigger points.
Okay.
And they're bits that relay pain into certain parts of the body that, you know, pain trigger patterns. And there's always like one main trigger point and then branches.
Yeah.
They branch off from the main trigger point and cause chronic pain patterns. And obviously I was in a lot of chronic pain at the time, back in last April.
Mm.
And yeah, he managed to like find all these bits and bobs, but he didn't really have the skills at the time because obviously he was new to it.
Yeah.
So
Kind of fine tuning what he
yeah,
kind
so
of almost
like,
had a
I
knack
call
for.
his nickname's The Gift because
Yeah.
like he's got the gift of finding problems in people, same as I've got. So he's a good character. So I've invested a lot of time into training him, and yeah, he's becoming very, very, very good. Like, and he want to get better and better. And like in the last year, he's moved out of his mum and dad's house. He's got himself a nice girlfriend and whatnot. He's sorted himself out. His head's on straight, and he's found his purpose. So it's like, when you find that, you're unstoppable, man. When you've got that, like, you know, hopefully you're getting the same thing with this podcast. It's like,
Thank you.
you feel something like what I'm doing is right in myself.
Yeah.
And you know when you're not doing it. And I think that's what people lie to themselves. Like, if you're going to do a 9 to 5 to, fuck knows, like, sit at a desk and I don't know what people do. No offices do. Do you know what I mean? I've never worked in an office, but I don't know what they get up to.
I've worked
doing emails and whatever.
Yeah, I've worked in an office. You're not missing much.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's a load of faff, innit? Like what are you actually doing?
Yeah.
You know, what difference are you making to the world? Like, sending Carol an email about stock or whatever. I don't know what they get up to, but like, I think, I don't know, man. I think everyone's just, you've got to, whatever your little voice is telling you inside, just do it, man. Just get on with it. And it will be rough, but as long as you believe in it enough, you know, you'll iron out the creases and get on with it.
Yeah. You know what I like? I really like sitting here and speaking to you about this all, because it's so evident that not only do you do it because you're really good at it, but you enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, man.
And you're so, you don't bother about the things that aren't necessary. You just want to get on. You love what you do, and you almost don't have time for any of the, I mean, quite frankly, any of the bullshit about it. You just kind of want to get on with it. You want to help people. You know what you got to do, and you enjoy doing that. And no, I really appreciate kind of hearing that from you, because it is inspiring. It's an inspiring thing to listen to, and being like, you know what, when you put your mind to shit, you can actually get it done.
100%, man.
And you can really do it.
And it's, you got to mean it. Like, it's about, like, I had a, like, because I told you, I speak to a psychologist. Been speaking to him about 4 or 5 years. He's as you call him, a therapist or a counsellor or whatever. But yeah, he's like my psychological support. He helps me analyse the world through slightly different perspectives of my own. And I was talking to him about this talk, and there was 2 options. I could have come in suited and booted, played the consultant role. You know, he was talking about cops and robbers earlier.
Yeah.
Could have kept it very polished. I've done this, I've done that. Or turn up as I would have anyway, talk how I would anyway.
You've come up as you.
Be authentic.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. And I said to him, I'm worried I'm not going to be interesting. And he just said...
Mate, you're far from it.
And he looked at me, he was like, well, that's a mad thought. Because I don't genuinely think I'm that interesting. I'm just doing what I do.
Mate, you're far from not interesting.
And
you're the opposite end of the scale. This conversation has been amazing.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, appreciate that, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, don't try and be something you're not. Like, if I was
Yes.
trying to be interesting,
Yeah, yeah.
or if I was trying to impress you or whatever, it will come across completely different. And I think that's what you see with everyone.
Yeah.
And that's, I said I isolate myself from like the social media world and that.
Yeah.
It's because it's easy to put some bling on and some nice clothes and stand in front of a nice car and look how great my life is and whatever, but it ain't real, is it?
No. And it's very clear to see how kind of authentic you are in that sense, and I think I appreciate that you've come on as yourself today.
Yeah, man.
And I also massively appreciate, and I'm sure all of your clients that you've seen previously and going to see in the future will all appreciate the fact that you are authentic and you are the person that gets up at the end of the session and goes, right, I really hope to never see you again.
Yeah.
And you are the person to go, you know what, this might take some time, but next time you'll come in, you'll be 20% better. You'll be 40% better. And you're kind of putting it in a sense that people can understand it because of your authenticity from it.
If you try and sound clever, you're not clever.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. It's like, I could say all the anatomical terms and the whatnot and the jargon. I read medical letters and they piss me off. People, what does this mean? And you're like, it basically means you've got a bit of swelling in your knee.
Yeah, just say.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just don't be a dick as a doctor.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. You see this a lot in this field, and that's a lot of poncy, ponderous fucking idiots. That's like, and that's why, like social media winds me up because you see people who ain't got a clue what they're on about. Yeah, telling people a load of nonsense, and people are buying it. And it's really easy to just. Say like I always used to call it like the zoom principle of like how far in do you zoom, like you said about like everything hour by hour with athletes, like just zoom out a bit.
So sometimes it is a better way. It's the more intelligent way is to go about things in the more basic way. And overcomplicating things. And
this is what I love about like my S&C background is that like do the basics well, the rest will follow. It makes sense, man. And it's like, if you can't walk, don't run. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, just drag yourself along the floor. Like you'll get there.
There's something.
There's something you can do. And that's it, man. Like even you said, you're juggling 2 jobs. You're doing a podcast, but you're still doing the podcast. You could say, "Oh, I'm so busy, I can't do my podcast. It's always been my dream." Go out to the pub and tell your mates, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do a podcast." Or and then sat there, 6 pints of beer. You're the best fucking podcaster who's ever lived because you're talking about it, but you've never done it. You see it with people all the time. I could have done this. I could have done that. Well, why didn't you, mate? And that's like people come across. Like I come across as I'm a very blunt guy because, like you say, I ain't got time for bullshit, man. So like literally, like that's why I didn't work in the PT world because people would pay me so they would lose weight and they'd come and see me. How was your weekend? Oh, I had a chocolate cake. I say, well, you're a fucking idiot. And they look at me like, what? You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Why? What? You just paid me 600 quid. For what? I say you might as well put it in the bin. I'm not training you no more. Oh no, that's rude. It's not rude. You're wasting my time. That's rude. And like that's what it was like with my athletes as well. I always remember, like Luke come for a session once, man. Oh, can we just do this? I said, do you want to fucking win this title or what?
Yeah.
What? I said, you come in here with that attitude, man. Fuck off. Like that's what I'm like.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset, man. Don't come here talking like that to me. Like you're wasting my time. And that's the switch in me. Is like I can be super cool, complacent, whatever. But when there's a job to be done and there's something to be done, do it. Like don't talk about it. And that's why I love the Russians. The Russians do not do this English waffle thing. When they finally accepted me into their camp, it's like. Phone rang. I'm with Luther. Phone's rang. Answered it. Hello, Louie. Yeah, you're right. How you doing? Yeah. And he's like, Southampton. How long it take you? I said, well, I'm just at home. How long it take you? I said, it's a 50-minute drive. See you in 50 minutes. All right. Looks like we're going to Southampton.
Yeah.
Drove there. It took about an hour and 20 because of traffic. Meet us in this cafe. Text, one line, bang. Meet us in so-and-so. Found the cafe, sat there. They're both waiting. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot about you. Lufa tells us. All right, cool. Sit down. They're looking at me like this. You know, like Al's like, he suited and booted, man. Al Siesta. He's the brains of the outfit, and then Gennadi's just like this meathead Russian bald head, like ex like Spetsnaz like type looking. You know what I mean? Like piercing eyes, and lovely soft bloke, but you know, scary. And they're asking me some questions and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden they just like break character and like, shake my hand and welcome aboard.
Really?
Like,
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So they just put on that front.
I think it's like, you know how like dogs run at each other.
Yes.
And they stand off and they're like, "What you all about, mate?" "Oh, right, you're cool." And then they're right. It was like that. And then
as soon as they realise that, hold on, this guy is about
and then
it.
We sorted out a 3-month camp in about an hour.
Wow.
So what are we doing? I think we should do this. How long for? Probably takes an hour. All right, 1 hour, we're going to do this. Bum.
Yeah.
Done. Hour later, we've got 3 months worth of training.
Yeah.
Like,
there's none of
the Russians
are
they're amazing. Obviously, politically at the minute, it's all over the place. But as people and as a way of working, man, they're like the Germans as well. Like, there's no waffle.
Just get to it.
Yeah, just get to it, man. Just get it done.
Yeah.
In England, we like to speak to
about.
so-and-so and... it does my head in.
Yeah, you know what? It's quite nice running a podcast of the fact that I do it on my own. I'm a one-man band, so there's kind of no one to check in with. It's quite nice. I mean, today's a bit different because Hannah, my missus, is with us, kind of helped set everything up and things like that.
That's where she should be, man.
It's like and kind of having the support behind it. Absolutely wonderful. I don't think I feel like everyone does need that little bit of support, and a lot of people don't think they need it in a way. But it's very nice to kind of just be kind of down to it. And again, you miss all the right. I need to speak to this person. I need to do that. I need to do that. Yeah. It's just like, right, okay, this is my diary. When are you free? Type thing, and it just works around like that. So no, that's good. But right, there's a couple of things that I kind of want to go over, kind of before we wrap up the episode.
Sweet.
If there was kind of some advice for people that are thinking about, right, okay, I've had this and it hasn't gone away for a while, what would be that kind of advice for someone they've got the back pain, they've got this, they've got that, or they haven't been feeling correct for a while and things like that. What's your kind of advice to them?
Get a second opinion. Don't panic.
Yeah. Don't use Google.
Oh, mate.
Dr. Google.
Just go get a good professional opinion.
Yeah.
Like, just because you've got a bad back don't mean you've got a bad back forever. Just because you're in pain all the time don't mean you're going to be in pain forever.
Yep.
The doctors are pretty doom and gloom because you've got this and this is how it goes. But like injury and illness isn't a preset destination.
Yeah.
It's a process. Like you have good days and bad days. Again, you just move your time frame. Like when I was in agony, I had to think, what am I doing for the next minute? Can I get out of bed? Can I move? Like, say to make your task smaller, what am I going to do for the next 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Obviously give me a shout if you're really struggling or whatever. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm always booked up for like 4 to 6 weeks in advance, but I'm more than happy to help. I'll always try to do what I can in terms of like advice. I'd like to do more content, I guess, on how to manage pain and whatever. It's a time thing, man. Like, I'm rubbish with like the internet and that. Like, I hate it. Like, it doesn't feel real to me by like doing a video and putting it out there. I'd rather I'd rather do it in person, which is like this year I want to do some workshops about managing pain and like screening injuries and all stuff for PTs and people who are suffering. So like that's my next goal, is to try and get a better reach in the real world. Because that means nothing to me if I've got 100,000 followers. I'd rather speak to 100 people in a hall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that'd be my advice. Get a second opinion.
Yeah.
don't panic about it. Always move. Like, movement's medicine, man. Like, even if you're in bits, just go for a walk, use heat, get in the bath, hot water bottles, over-the-counter meds if you need them, prescription meds if you really need them. Yeah, that's what I'd say along them lines.
At what point do you think people should come and see you?
Anytime you're in pain.
Yeah.
Like, pain's a signal. Like, pain means change. Like, if you're in pain, do something different. Like, and the problem is like, if you're a mechanic working on cars all day and you've got a bad back, you can't really change what you do. And that's where, like, the elite sport thing and the injury prevention thing is good, because it's like, right, he's injured his knee, but he needs to play on Sunday. So it's a different mindset. The doctors are, well, you just can't work for 3 months. Or have you tried not being a mechanic? So I've been a mechanic for 40 years. What else am I going to do? Deliver parcels? Do you know what I mean? Like, for half the money. Like, so, yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, yeah, if you're in pain, just if you need to come and see me, come and see me. Like, or go and see someone. It doesn't have to be me.
Yeah.
Just find someone who's got a pretty good track record. Like, I'm not the only one doing good work. There's quite a lot of people, but like you say, it's a bit of a minefield. You need 100 sessions people, and but you'll get a read on someone. You sit down with them, and if they genuinely take the time of day and they're really interested in helping you, they will. And it's not, my way isn't the right way. It's just a way that works. Some people like Reiki healing, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it don't matter.
Different ways of
if it works, do it.
Yeah.
You could do what you want as long as it helps.
Yeah, no. I think that's good advice, and it definitely sit on a lot of people's kind of mental and go, right, okay, hold on. It does seem actually a lot easier, and it's a lot more straightforward than, first of all, panicking about it and things like that. Yeah. So you know what I mean. But I mean, where can people find you? Where can people reach out to you and get you on?
So, like, I've got social media. My main one I use is Instagram. It's the only one I really properly understand how to use.
Well, I'll be tagging everything.
Sweet. And like I say,
so people can find it.
I'll share everything as well. I've got a website. There's not a massive amount of information. There's some stuff about me on there. A few pictures of the space, and I like a good email. I love an old school email. Write out what's going on. I like sitting at my computer and doing emails and that.
See, maybe you are built for an office, man.
Maybe.
Maybe you are sit down and built for emailing.
But you can ring me, but the problem with phone calls and that is, like, if you've got 10 people and they want a 20-minute conversation, it's a lot of time, man.
It's a long time.
On top of a day's work, I get in at like 9 o'clock anyway. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to stay up till 12 talking to people about bad elbows, and do you know what I mean? So ping us a message, I've got this, and then I'll try to get back to everyone. I'll normally, within about 3-4 days, I'll be back to people. Try to stay on top of it. If it's something I need to have a look at, if it's a bit more severe, then I'll make time. If not, then, to be honest, Eddie can deal with a lot of stuff now. So he's going to keep his skills are going to keep increasing. But that's the goal, man. Just I want to start passing on a bit more now, like knowledge and start training up people and getting the right people, because I can only help so many people on my own, and like I've got my own limitations with my health and that now, so I can't do 10 sessions a day like I was. Do you know what I mean? I ain't got the energy, unfortunately, and I'm getting older as well. I've had a load of surgeries and aches and pains, and from years of training and sport and that, so I've only got a physical capacity of what I can do now, man. I'm not 21 anymore.
Of course. Well, I'd just like to say thank you very much for coming on the episode. I do massively appreciate it, and I hope everyone that has watched or listened, you have enjoyed the episode. Make sure you go and have a look and check out Louie's website and his Instagram, and definitely reach out if you need any help. Honestly, I couldn't recommend Louie enough. Me and my partner have both been to see him, and it's just been an incredible experience. And even though Louie hoped not to see me, I'm back with a podcast, so it's a bit different this time. But I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much, man. I do appreciate it. Cheers. Thank you.